Floyd Mayweather's staying tight, using his defense, keeping, you know, good punch count, just everything he did was able to get McGregor out of there because of the arm punch. He added up.
Well, for 0 inside of the ring, I thought he could have stopped him a little earlier, but he did look impressive. I'm happy with the victory.
I don't think he came into this 0-0. I think he came in with a mindset to win. I think he came in with the integrity of the sport, of combat sports, and he went out there. No one can ever say anything about Conor McGregor in the boxing ring. If he wants to box after this, I believe he has a right to go out there. He just fought the best boxer of all time. He held his own. I had him winning several rounds in this fight. Man, it was a great performance.
Daniel, we can talk about where he disappointed you in a moment, but what was the difference maker for him? Where did he win the fight?
It was him coming forward. It was him allowing his pressure and his defense to be one, come together, and you slowly but surely started to see Conor McGregor slow down. Conor McGregor slowed down in about the 5th, 6th round, and once Floyd seen that, it was all Floyd Mayweather from there. He started punching him from the body. Conor McGregor didn't know how to react to those punches, and you can see he was holding and grappling in a way he didn't understand. But Floyd Mayweather was perfect tonight.
I'll have to disagree with you, my man. I don't think Floyd Mayweather was perfect. I think he was frustrated. I think Conor McGregor hit him with shots he didn't see coming. He countered Floyd Mayweather very crisply in the opening rounds. What he did that fatigued him, he was throwing those PD-pad combinations, the combinations with medium speed, medium power to set up his power hand, or he could have taken a round where he was jabbing and doing lateral motion. When he decided to do that medium speed, medium punch power, he started to punch himself out. He had about 20% power in the 7th, 8th, and 9th round, and he knew that he could not knock Floyd Mayweather out, and that's where he started to fatigue. Mental fatigue makes your body fatigue as well.
100% of the key to this win was Mayweather's ring generalship, clock management. This was something in his any punches in the first 3 rounds at all. He just let Conor do what he's going to do. He said, I'm going to let this guy punch me hard. I'm going to let him touch my arms and do what he wants. It doesn't matter. I'll give up 3 rounds. Once I start marching forward, if you watch Conor McGregor film, if he moves on his heels, he's much less efficient. Mayweather knew this. He watches film as much as anybody else. He's one of the best. So he waited for Conor to get tired punching himself out, start the forward march, and then overwhelm Conor, moving him back on his heels. Perfect game plan, and that's championship mentality. I do tip my hat to Conor. Awesome, amazing thing he did against the greatest ever.
Tyron, do you agree with Dominic on that? Because it was something that we talked about pre-fight, the fact that Floyd will figure you out. He will use those early rounds to suss you out and then adapt his game plan to you. Is that exactly what we saw?
He kept his composure. You know, I went into the locker room right before the fight. He was relaxing, getting a massage. You know, he kept his composure inside of that ring. He was losing rounds, but guess what? He had a smile on his face, and it wasn't a fake one. It was one, hey, I see what you're doing. I'm going to figure you out. I'm going to pick you apart, and he did that. We saw him fight a different style. Sometimes he does check hooks. Sometimes he counters you. He walked Conor McGregor down. The person that had the counterattack, the person that had the power punches, he took the lead. And he made him back up, and that was something that I know was unexpected from Conor McGregor. And you can see in his demeanor, you can see in his eyes, he was not prepared for that type of aggressive pressure from Floyd Mayweather.
No, I definitely agree. Once I knew Floyd Mayweather demanded the 8-ounce gloves, I knew the mentality that he had. Now, I give him the fact that he had to do 3 rounds in order to figure McGregor out. Now, McGregor did good for those 3 rounds. And it was Mayweather after that. I certainly seen him slowly but surely breaking him down. And Mayweather, like I said, he looked perfect after he figured him out. He didn't do good. Now, this is coming from a professional boxer. This guy, Floyd Money Mayweather, is one of the greatest of our generation. Has fought a guy with no experience. He went past the 6th, 7th round with this guy and then stopped him. I would have personally have liked for him to knock him out in the earlier rounds, being that he is one of the greatest of our generations. But he still won. He's still 50-0. Yeah.
He had to figure him out. If he would have went in there and tried to go punch for punch with a fresh, heavier, crisper, more unorthodox strike in Conor McGregor, we might have seen Floyd Mayweather take his first loss. I think he had to figure him out. He had to take his time and see what was coming forward.
You are itching to say something, Dominic. Go on.
I was just going to say this is why we had to have this happen. I mean, he went longer than anybody thought, first of all. Second of all, he made it a better fight than anybody thought over that period of time. We did expect him to try to get the knockout in 4 rounds, maybe even win those 3 rounds in the beginning, which he did. There's a lot of things you can look at this and say, I want to see more matchups like this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with MMA coming over to boxing again. Now, are we always going to be successful? No, but this was a statement that as much as you think he should have got Conor out there early, he didn't for a reason, because we are there and we can box.
Let's talk about the way that fight did end, because we haven't spoken about that yet. It took for the referee, for Robert Byrd, to wave it off in the 10th round. Was it a premature, it was obviously a premature stoppage, but was it a bad stoppage? And coming from an MMA perspective where the guy has to hit the ground, Conor was clearly saying, I'm good. Should it have gone on?
I somewhat understand why he stopped it, somewhat not. If I'm Conor, I want to go out. I want to be knocked out. Unfortunately, if that's how I'm going to be finished, I want to make sure there's no question in my mind if I could have kept fighting. So I think he could have let it go a little longer, but if you saw the round before he stopped it, the 8th, 9th round, Conor wasn't really throwing a whole lot. He was backing up the whole time. He was eating a lot of punches, taking a lot of damage to the head. Come the 9th round, Floyd picked it up even more. Come the 10th round, I mean, it would have been worse. So I kind of get it, because he wasn't really defending himself as much as he was surviving.
Tyron, though, you gave him the 8th round. Sorry,
I'm going to let the boxer go first, because I want him to give the perspective on the stoppage.
Well, the stoppage, in my opinion, I felt could have went a little longer. I don't know if it was premature, but I did want to see Conor McGregor go out on his heels. I wanted to see that from an MMA guy coming into the sport of boxing, one of the greatest fighters of all time. I did want to see him go out. And also for Floyd Mayweather to not have any questions whatsoever, for this to be a statement. It could have went longer. It could have had a knockout, but this was still great.
Well, obviously, I wanted to see a good fight, and we saw a great fight. I think it was an early stoppage. If Conor McGregor had hit the canvas once or twice before, and then this onslaught came on, and he wasn't properly defending himself, at that point you step in, you stop the fight. If he had never hit the canvas, he had never been knocked down, it's a premature stoppage, and I do think that Floyd Mayweather would have loved the appetite of knocking him down and seeing him hit the ground. So it wasn't just Conor McGregor. I think they took it away from Floyd. I think it would have happened later in that round anyway, maybe the next round at very most. He had no more to give, not only from a defensive standpoint, he didn't know how to properly clinch. He didn't know where to put his head. He was going to walk in and take a uppercut right to the chin because he was reaching with both hands and his head up. That's just from the experience that he lacks in the boxing arena.
I mean, Conor McGregor, though, then in the post-fight interview saying very clearly that he did wish that the fight had gone on. Does it then feel unresolved for both men, ultimately, this fight?
I don't think so at all. I think that this is resolved. I think that it's something Conor's going to look back. He'll go back and watch the film and say, yes, I wish I could have gotten more of a chance to try to fight out of that. But he had 2 rounds of slowing down is the thing. And he wasn't going to get a bunch of energy all of a sudden and just come back. He does have a chance to land a big shot, but Mayweather didn't even look tired at all, to be honest. He looked like he was just waiting Conor out and you think about a wolf, they chase the big wildebeest for a very long time before the wildebeest gets tired and then they attack. That's basically the tactic that Mayweather did, and it was genius.
But it's also the job of the referee, to protect the fighter. And this is a new circumstance for Conor McGregor. Floyd Mayweather, it was just a matter of time for Floyd Mayweather really put some damage on him if the referee would allow it to continue. Conor McGregor was on his last breath. He was throwing arm punches, and he wasn't allowed to get any power shots from himself. So Floyd Mayweather did a great job, and I agree with the decision of the referee. I do would allow to see go a little longer, but I agree with the referee and stoppage.
It's not a video game. Conor McGregor wasn't going to go and hit a red plus and get some health and gain some energy and get his power back. He had no power left. He was not going to knock out Floyd Mayweather. He probably would have wanted to go out on his sword because as a wrestling mentality, the MMA mentality, we're gladiators. And we want, if you knock me out, I want to be unconscious. I want not to be able to move. Don't stop. I'll tell the referee, when I'm fighting, do not touch me. If my arm break, let it happen. If I'm knocked out, do not touch me until you know I'm done. And that's why I would have liked to see it go further. Not because I thought that Conor McGregor had the opportunity or the chance or the skills or the experience to make a comeback and win this fight. That was not going to happen.
Okay, I'll tell you what, let's for a moment just go back inside the T-Mobile Arena and speak to Heidi Androl, who's going to tell us what Floyd Mayweather said in his post-fight interview. Heidi.
Well, thank you very much, Kate. Immediately after the fight, Floyd Mayweather spoke to Showtime's Jim Gray. He asked them about a conversation that was had between Mayweather and Conor right after the fight. Floyd told him that they just talked about how Conor was a tough competitor, tougher than he expected him to be. Also how they wanted to give the fans a show, and he said he felt like after the Pacquiao fight he owed the fans that. And in terms of the awkwardness of Conor McGregor, he said that the game plan was always to feel him out, let Conor get those shots off early. He knew that after 25 minutes that Conor would fatigue. That was his history and his MO. That is exactly when they started to unleash the Mayweather power. In terms of emotion, he got a little emotional and saying, you know what, this is it. This is the final time I will be in the ring. And he said that he thanked all the Irish fans, and he said he picked the right dance partner. Certainly a very emotional Floyd, and again, we'll see. This may be the final time we see him in the ring. All right, guys, back to you.
Heidi, thank you so much. There you go. The fans still enjoying themselves in the Toshiba Plaza just outside of the T-Mobile Arena as they now begin to fill